For the next is should be a speech from the Dean, Mrs. Devi Kosak, but unfortunately that she cannot come today with us in here because there is another occasion, important occasion, in the rectorate. So, I will be talk about the agenda first year. The presentation will be derived by the first presenter, Professor Lluis Mundet, within about 20 and 30 minutes. Is enough for you?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. And after that, it will be followed by comment from the chef Vindex Tengker. I think chef already in the Zoom. Yeah.
Already, Bu.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Vindex. Okay. First, let me introduce for the first presenter, Professor Lluis Mundet from Girona University, Spain, who is charged in the presenting gastronomy, tourism, present and future. So he is a lecturer of tourism faculty in Girona University, field of human geography, and he has so much skill and expertise. Yeah, in the tourism development, tourism management, sustainable tourism, cultural tourism, sustainable development, heritage, cultural heritage, and many of the major he has advertised. So, Professor Lluis, a graduate, a Bachelor of Art in Geography and History for Autonomous University of Barcelona, and got a master's degree scholarship from Erasmus Scholarship Program, and studied at the University of Durham in England, and Leisure and Tourism Studies from the University of Grant, Flanders, Belgium, and PhD in Geography from University of Girona. And since 1996, he has taught the university in Girona Faculty of Tourism, and from 2002, working in postgraduate student, teach for the master degree and PhD degree. As well, he has also tested several universities in Europe, like the Magic Bear University, Slovakia, Norwegia, Finlandia, Germany, Cuba, even in America, Africa, and Asia. So much new experience. Wonderful. Okay, I cannot read all for his CV, it's very long. And he has published articles in leading academic journal on tourism with the highest impact factor. You know the highest impact, that means many people have to, you know, to their paper from the paper of Professor Lluis. Some of the paper may be connected with the gastronomy. Sorry. It's like a proximity of food product, gastronomic tourism, and food market on Costa Daurada, Catalonia, Spain. And this is like some of you who take the major community-based tourism through the food, the proposal of sustainable tourism indicator for isolated and rural destination in Mexico. And a lot of things you can see from the Google Scholar ID and the other ID in Google. Yeah. Okay, Professor Lluis, time is yours. I think you give time to present yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Sarojini. Maybe I feel better if I move here. I will leave this presentation and all the material to your professor, so feel free to have a look later, because sincerely speaking, I talk too much and I write too much and there are too many slides and I do not think we have time to go through all the slides. Okay, so maybe it will be better you at home, because you are also at the beginning of the academic course and you have more, supposedly, you have more free time now than in some months in advance. Then take a look with more time at home. Okay? Well, let's begin. Yeah, sorry. Not the beginning, the first slide. Okay, I like to begin with this. One cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well. So it's important. So it's really important. Food, gastronomy really matters. But 2 points. What do we understand by gastronomy? No? Well, the first thing is that from the etymology point of view, it comes from a Greek word, so it's very old. Gastronomy is the knowledge, nomos, of the stomach, gastro. And the other important point is that from one, well, it's maybe considered the first gastronomy writer, French one, Sarojini. He wrote this quote in 1826, 200 years ago. Tell me what you eat, I will tell you who you are. And he defined gastronomy as the intelligence, knowledge of whatever concerns man's nourishment. Okay? So this will help us to define which is gastronomy. Well, at home read the rest because it's also about Sarojini. But well, gastronomy, tourism. Well, now food is one of the essential elements of the tourist experience. It's essential, it's really important. It helps to create experiences. And in fact, food structures the tourist day. And times are changing. And I will see this. We'll see this. Right? Yeah. No, it's okay. For instance, 30 years ago, you work as a cook, it was not very well seen. But now, for instance, everybody wants to be a famous cook. And in fact, no, it's not called named cook, it's a chef. But 30, 40 years ago, this was not really well seen. But this has changed. Also globalization. The importance of social media, and for everybody, for instance, Instagram, TikTok. Just one question for you. This question is for you. What social network do you use more? Instagram or TikTok? TikTok. Facebook, not anymore. No. And so this is a surprise to me. So are you using more TikTok than Instagram? Why? Why? Because
Kerasa lagi coba bicara. Keras aja bicara. Tes. Okay.
Because TikTok is more interesting, there's video cooking or someone jokes. about something in the tutorial, makeup or something.
It's more funny.
Yeah, more fun.
Okay. Okay, then this is really important. I mean, social networks, no? And also, there is a change of paradigm from we eat to live to we live to eat. Many of us, we just live to eat because eat is really important. And then there is the new figure of the foodie. The food. Hi. Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, this is the problem always technical.
Then hi, see, thanks a lot. Well, the foodie is also a new figure, no? Have a look, no? At this figure, no? Is a person who's overly interested in food, who talks about food on all occasions, salivating when referring to restaurants and recipes. And there are people who do not think of food as something simple or trivial. Food is considered food as an art. Imagine one person that's able to travel just to Tokyo, from Chicago to Tokyo, just to eat in a restaurant. Well, we have one specific niche marketing that think about this. I mean, as something normal. They travel from Chicago to New York or to Barcelona just to visit one specific restaurant. Films. I'm sure that you have seen both films or at least one. Have you seen it? Have you seen them? They are lovely, especially Ratatouille. Ratatouille. And he is the man. And this was the front page of the New York Times Magazine. 2003, 20 years ago. That front page changed many things. Because that front page was dedicated to one of the most famous and renowned chefs, Ferran Adrià, and because he changed everything. 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 He is the responsible of changing the concept of the gastronomy and the cuisine from the French haute cuisine to something nearly scientific. Gastronomy is also science, or part of science. Some of the dishes inspired or directly prepared by Ferran Adrià. Healthy eating. Everybody is concerned about healthy eating nowadays. Or, for instance, vegan or being vegetarian, which means eating less meat. Eating less meat. And also this is directly related to climate change, try to lower the emissions of CO2. So in the whole world, people are really concerned about let's eat less meat. Even became vegan. Talking about culinary experiences, no? Linked to tourism. The possibility of creating tourism products directly related to gastronomy. Plenty of the best food tours around the world. In Barcelona, one of the most successful tours in Barcelona is learning how to cook a paella. And it works really well. connected with the fun and culture of Barcelona. Please, would you mind playing the video, please, about paella in Barcelona? And well, if you wish, we can. Well, we'll play that video later. Let's go back to my presentation. Well, you can also have, for instance, this is a British tour operator who only sells tourist product related to gastronomy. Gastronomy tours. You can travel through them, contracting just only gastronomy tours, and not cheap, anyhow. But they are really being successful in doing that. No, wine tourists and trek wine, for instance, also. And in the second part, I would also like to talk about a very special restaurant, El Celler de Can Roca, who was chosen 2 years in 2013 and 2015 as the best restaurant in the world. So in 2 occasions, the restaurant was considered to be the best restaurant in the world. It has 3 Michelin stars. And it's very interesting, the story behind, because it's managed by 3 brothers. 3 brothers working in the restaurant. And this is the restaurant. It's located in Girona. And what's really interesting is that brothers learn nearly everything helping their parents, because their parents had a very humble, very normal family restaurant located in one of lower class neighborhood in Girona. They were preparing meals for working people. Normally working people, went there to have their lunch at midday. And later, they studied at the school, the hospitality school in Girona. And after studying at the hospitality school in Girona, well, they learn a lot. They adapt traditional gastronomy, traditional Catalan dishes, to something really more modern. That's the reason why at the beginning of my lecture, you will find one subtitles set from classicism to modern. Because here you will see some of the best dishes of the restaurant. This is one of their dishes. And for instance, this is calamari. Calamari a la romana is squid. And this is a very traditional classic dish. And this is the way their mother prepared the squid. This is the way, really tasty. You can still go to their parents. I mean, you can go to their parent restaurant at midday, and the menu the menu costs you around 15 euros, 15, 1.5 with coffee included. This is in Europe, this is average, okay? If you go to the expensive restaurant, the 3-star Michelin, you need to book 1 year in advance because it's always full. And you will pay around 300 euros. So this is the way their mother cooked squid, prepared squid, calamari al romano. And this is their way, the new form. They prepare the same. This is the classic way. This is the modern way. Well, this is how they rethink and reshape traditional dishes in this form. Contrast, landscape, a way of presenting the landscape of a region. Bean salad, product, for instance. So, bear in mind that it's also really important the colors, different colors, the presentation. It's like a painting. Lemon cloud. But I want to give you the last one is sense of humor. I guess that all of you really love football, soccer. And Football Club Barcelona, do you know Football Club Barcelona? Of course, the best football team in the world, much better than Madrid, much more better than Real Madrid. And then Messi was for many years, was playing in Barcelona. And then I like you to play one video. But the video of Messi, no, this one, no, there is another one.
Yang lagi main sepak bola.
No, another one of the football. It's a couple of minutes of football match.
Main sepak bola.
No, this one no. It's the other one.
Ja cap a la dreta.
That one. This one.
Per Xavi, assistència.
But this is considered one of the most beautiful goals in the football history. And the three brothers, especially the youngest one, Jordi, it's a fan of soccer. It's really a fun. And he decided to design a dessert in commemoration of this goal. And it's this dessert. Not the other one. The other one. No, the other. This one.
Okay, you can eat the first, the second, you prepare the bowl, and yes.
Can go back. So when customers ask for this dessert in the restaurant, they deliver the dessert and also an iPod to listen to and to see the famous Messi goal. No? So you can see there is a sense of humor, and also what does a Messi goal taste like? Well, you have the answer here.
Next.
And the next. And
Cap a la dreta per Xavi.
wait a moment. And this also came from the Greek word. Let me see. The previous one, is it possible? That one. Synesthesia. Synesthesia. That is also a Greek word that means together, no? Together and sensation. You mix sensations. It's not only the taste, it's also the sight, it's also the listening. You mix in one dish many different sensations. Image of a sense, of an odor, a sound is not only one sense which is being stimulated by one gastronomy dish. The sound is it is the sum of various different senses, like the sight, like looking at that bowl, the taste when you eat the dessert, and also when you listen and you feel the emotion. So it's not only one, if not three different senses that are mixed in this experience, because we are talking about experiences.
Cap a la dreta per Xavi.
And as I already told you in my first lecture the last week, in Girona, it was filmed the 6th season of Game of Thrones. The 6th. Here you have the link. We do not have time to see, because there is one website when you see all the different places in Girona that were used to film Game of Thrones, the 6 seasons, no? And the younger brother, Jordi, the one of the M.Si Gold dessert, also owns an ice cream shop, and is this one, Rocambolesque. And in honor, remembering Game of Thrones, they produced this ice cream. Do you remember that one of the actors in Game of Thrones has an iron hand? Remember, no? And he decided to produce an ice cream in the memory of Game of Thrones in Girona. Well, here you will see also this book for you, if you like gastronomy tourists, is considered the Bible, one of the most important books linked to food tourism. Here you have it. You have the link. You can download it for free on PDF. And if you have time, have a look at that book, because it's quite old. It's from 2003, but it's still up to now one classic. So you have time, give it a look. Give it a look. Okay, then that's all for now, Professor Sarojini. I think that I am on time.
Yes, you still have time.
So I do not know if it's now questions time or at the end maybe.
After you finish, and then will be the
Well,
other commentator, then the time for question.
Then I finish now.
I think they give the video that how they make go.
Yeah.
You want to show?
Well, if you wish, you can. The other video, the remaining one.
Yes. Video yang cara membuat itu makanan go tadi. Ada satu lagi biar anak-anak pak dimakan itu. Nah, ya, satu lagi. Coba buka dulu listnya. Nah, ini situ.
No.
Oke, satu lagi ya.
One.
This one. This is interesting. How to make it.
Bueno, aquí tenemos el último postre del menú. Es un golden M.Si. No hay mejor manera que acabar la comida con un golden M.Si. Aquí en el bol tenemos una crema de fruta de la pasión, dulce de leche, menta, eucalipto. Son sabores que nos agradan a lo que entendemos como euforia y alegría. A la vez ponemos aquí dos pequeños malvaviscos de mango y menta, que recuerdan al color de la canariña, ya que es un golden M.Si soñado que sea contra Brasil, ¿no? Y los clientes tienen que hacer eso. ¿Cómo es el contrario? ¿Otro?
Depends how do you have to eat it.
Coger la pelota, te hace un golazo y acaba el postre. En definitiva, esto es un homenaje a Argentina, porque la verdad es que hemos estado como en casa, hemos estado súper bien acogidos acá, y no hay mejor manera que hacer este homenaje con un golazo de Messi.
I cap a la dreta per Xavi.
Okay.
You want to?
I do not know if better questions now, maybe at the end.
Okay.
Any questions? Do you feel hungry? Yes.
Probably we continue first for the commentator from the chef.
Okay.
So it will be, we have just listened the presentation of the topic is very interesting.
Thank you.
Wow, how can the idea with the goal of Messi become a food? The soup, yeah. The soup is traditional way, yeah. Soupnya traditional, but the presentation is very innovative from the something the people remember about the goal of the best goal of Messi. Okay. There's another presenter after this, maybe, ladies and gentlemen, this is the commentator, Chief Vindex Tengker. Mr. Vindex, are you already in?
In, already in.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Vindex, may I introduce him for the curriculum? He is the real name is Vindex Valentino Tengker. He is a very famous chef, yeah? And many of working experience already have, like in 2020, become the FB consultant for Indonesian food and at the Le Meridian Hotel, Jakarta, and FB consultants and harvest cake and pastries in 57 outlets, and Terra Cut Grill Restaurant, 5 outlets, consultant Hotel Nature and Hotel Indonesian Group for 40 hotels, and 5 resident in-flight service for Garuda Indonesian, and executive chief the Dharma Wangsa Hotel Jakarta, and 4 Seasons Hotel Jakarta, in Bali, in Jakarta. Wow, 4 Seasons and in Jimbaran Bay, you have to try the food in Jimbaran, see? And many experience of the chef in the famous hotel in Indonesia, I think. Not only in Indonesia, and the chef have a big experience for the other country. And right now, chef in Canada. Yeah, in Canada. And organization experience, a member of Association of Catering and Restaurant Service, member of Gastronomy Indonesia since 2014, advisor Association Culinary Professional Indonesia, president of Jakarta Culinary Professional, and many of the organizations. Well, I cannot tell you all because it will take much time for this.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, Chef, time is yours. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Bu, and thank you, Professor Lluis, for the explanation about the gastronomic world, which is, I think, is very interesting. I've been working in the industry since 1989. I started in Bali, so I almost lived like 15 years in Bali. But then I also have able to work in Spain. I work in Palma, Mallorca. One of the restaurant is Indonesian restaurant. At that time was in 91 to 92. Then I joined for a season after that. So I think I was there in 91. They planned to, I think during the Olympiad of Barcelona in 92. But then restaurant is closed. At that time, maybe like Spanish people still consider not so much on the spicy food. We get mainly restaurant. Our restaurant is actually cater mostly for tourists. You get people from like Dutch, from Germany, from England, which is already more known for Asian food than Spanish people itself. But we love Spain. I learned a lot in there. It's one of my first restaurant experience after hotels. Then I was actually 15 years almost 18 years with Four Seasons. I was in Bali to start with, and then going to LA, Los Angeles for like 3 years before I going back again to Bali. After working hotels, I also have worked with Garuda as the vice president for in-flight service. That's where I was actually out of the kitchen, but still working for some catering. So relate to this tourism and gastronomy, present and future. I think, like Professor Lluis said, that it is experience that brings people to get excited about the food. Eating food in a restaurant, not only like to feed you or to make you full, but it gives you some kind of excitement when you eat it, especially food with story behind it. When I travel around the world, I was able to go, like with Garuda, I was able to visit most of our station in overseas station, learning about their food, but it's also bringing Indonesian food to be known and to learn, to teach them how to make food. So when passengers going from, for example, Tokyo or London, they have some option to eat some Indonesian food. So for me, I think gastronomy as a big picture, but food diplomacy, it's an important part of the nation, basically, because that creates the nation brand. What Thailand did with their food is basically combinations of collaboration of government and private to basically creating restaurants, engaging the I think the diaspora people who live in the country to bring the restaurant up to the standards and make it consistent. Indonesian food have so many variation. I've been promoting Indonesian food since I was in the kitchen. So basically, right after I joined Amandari Hotel in Ubud in 1989, right after I joined Four Seasons in 92, every year I went to different countries to promote Indonesian food. And it started from Milan, Istanbul, and many other places around the world that have Four Seasons on it. We are able to promote Indonesian food, especially at that time was mostly Balinese food because we are coming from Four Seasons Bali. So we doing like bebek betutu, one of the duck or chicken dishes wrapped in banana leaf with so much spices on the marination. I think Balinese call them 1,000 spice. That senses and that spices really makes people amazed with the spice, with the taste, with all the sensation that going into their mouth. So basically, I mean, right now the government basically, like especially the Ministry of Tourism, we and then more with coordinating ministry, we are focusing now on the program called Indonesian Spice Up the World, which is basically a combinations of multi departments and ministerial to promote Indonesian food overseas or branding Indonesian food overseas and helping restaurants overseas or abroad to help them to create menus and have a sustainable basic sauce and spices that sometimes are not easy to find in the country where they make the restaurant. I mean, my experience, almost 31 years, I was able to see, like for example, in Spain, because that's my first overseas task. It was basically not many Asian ingredients known in Europe, for example, at that time. And if you come back after 10 years after that, you can find almost everything in there. Last time in the restaurant, I tried to order lemongrass, and then the supplier sent us the grass. So it's basically the top of the lemongrass instead of the bottom part that we normally use. So that time's very minimum information about the spice. So what we see last time and what we see today, and also what we see in the future, is basically with very much social media interaction. I think all stakeholders that have, for example, for Indonesian food, must take an actions like using that platform of Indonesian Spice Up the World to actually bring the food, Indonesian food, outside. Like what Spain did with many of that, a Michelin star restaurant. We don't have it in Indonesia yet, but I'm sure that we have some or many of our restaurants are actually, be able to get that Michelin star with all the standardization, with all the taste, with all the, like you see in the video how one desserts can actually create a sensation. I've been to several Michelin star restaurants overseas during my trip. I could see that people really excited of eating there, and then they would like to see the experience. Sometimes have a dessert or have some fish courses that have actually you have to kind of like wear a raincoat and you have to have an umbrella just to have that eating sensation in the cold, like during rainy season. So that already brings a different experience when you eat just by itself or with that experience. And also, as we see now, there is a program called Le Petit Chef, where actually you have a video, interactive video that you could see how the plates are being made. And then comes the real food. So beside that futuristic or gastronomical cuisine, local cuisine or exotic cuisine still take their part. So for example, Indonesian food by itself, in Indonesia itself, I think people more now start enjoying Indonesian food. They're looking for a local food. Tourists coming from overseas, coming to Indonesia, they will always wants to find a local food. They wants to try their, with the level of spiciness also brought up, they like the spice. So they start looking for, I want the spicy one. So like before, I think 30 years back, hotels tried to make food like Western food. So they take out the spice, they make it more mild. That's because at that time, people still don't have that kind of experience of eating spicy food. But today, with the traveling, going overseas everywhere, people are expecting to have that spice. Same with, for example, people come to Thailand, they eat tom yum. Tom yum cannot be not spicy. It has to be spicy. Otherwise, they'll say, what is this? Seafood soup. but tom yum is spicy. So Indonesia, the same thing. We have our famous beef rendang, which is in 2011 was one of the the best food in the world according to CNN.go, and that one is basically is a comfort food for Indonesia. But it's kind of like have that experience. I was in Canada now, bringing my daughter to study in Canada, and just today I make some rendang for some student in here in Canada, and I make rendang. And I mean, of course, I cannot buy all the spices, so I bring the spices and the bumbus, but I take the beef from here in Canada and I make it, and it creates that kind of rendang. So people are enjoying it. The students love it. They said it's very, very nice. So our food, Indonesian food especially, have so much variations from east to west, and it's just a matter of how we promote it. And when we come to every nations, every countries in the world, everyone love it. I remember last time also we went to Serbia where there is no Asian restaurant, and we are making a promotion in Crown Plaza in Serbia. The first lady came. Everyone seems kind of like very interested in Indonesian food, and then they try. They love it. They like the pepes. Pepes is actually the fish that wrapped in banana leaf. They like the spice. So I said, okay, this is very interesting because there is no Asian restaurant or whatsoever in Serbia. And here we're promoting Indonesian food and everyone love it. So the potential or the things of the food is being made, for example, in there, it's big. So in correlation with gastronomy tourism, the culture and the food has to be connected together. And we have to make that kind of interesting program for people to come to Indonesia and enjoy it, like for example, cooking class or travel tourism, going to Yogyakarta, going to Bali, going to Aceh, going to Papua. They can go in 30 days, to find many different food in Indonesia. So I think that's my comment on the thing. So I think it's what Professor Lluis said in here is basically we need to learn from what Spain are doing at the moment with all this restaurant promoting the food through culinary, because like I said, people with food are easier to digest, easy to talk about even politics when you also dine in a restaurant. From a lighter conversation to a very formal conversation. Food blend us together. So it's important that for us in Indonesia also, with our Indonesian Spice Up the World, like the tourism faculties also are able to put in some effort to help the government. And together we're promoting our Indonesian culinary in Indonesia and also abroad. I think that's my comment and my conversation and talk about the gastronomy tourism, the present and the future for Indonesian food and also for food around the world. Thank you.
Okay, table class. Hello. Test. Okay. Thank you. Chef, it's a very interesting comment from you. And right now, Mrs. Devi is come here. Miss Jean, will we say hi for you? Thank you, Miss.
Yeah, hi, Devi.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all the presentation from two presenters. And right now it's time to questions. I want to ask something for Professor Lluis, Chef. You can raise your hand. Okay, please. Stand up, please. Introduce yourself first. Introduce yourself. Nama.
My name is Imran.
That's clear. Open. Yeah.
So what's the most Indonesian food that foreign people especially for say that you come to many place to decide which is not very
Okay. The question is for Vindex. Okay, Vindex. The answer?
Bisa diulang pertanyaan Bu, karena saya nggak dengar pertanyaan.
Nggak jelas ya. Bisa pakai bahasa Indonesia?
Ya, boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia.
jadi
Bisa di translate aja ya Bu ya. Soalnya saya nggak dengar suaranya dari mic.
Jadi kan
Oke.
chef bilang ya, chef udah come to many place, many country, and then you cook Indonesian food like pepes. Beside pepes, selain itu ada nggak sih makanan yang disukain gitu selain pepes, Indomie sama nasi goreng?
Oke, kecuali Indomie ya.
Ya, thank you chef.
Oke. Basically mungkin ini sama juga seperti pertanyaan Pak Ketut Surate gitu ya. Bagaimana kita bisa bawa local food, terus local food apa sih yang suit the taste of international palate atau turis gitu ya. Mungkin sama dengan kalau kita promosi keluar. Sebenarnya semua makanan itu orang suka, especially now. Ya, if you talking about this 130 years ago, spicy level is always the problem because yes, like European who don't travel much or like don't travel to Asia yet, they have very the stomach it's sangat peka gitu ya. So when they eat something spicy, they all langsung sakit perut, they all get stomachache. But today, I mean, not only today, but like 10 years, 5 years back, the level of spiciness of the tourists and people overseas already increased. We have some Japanese people who eat in the Garuda when they come from Narita. You know, they choose Indonesian food than Japanese food. Padahal dulu Japanese food are always orang Jepang kalau kalau datang ke Indonesia dia pilihnya makanan Jepang. Jadi kita punya pilihan makanan di pesawat 2. Nah, kalau misalnya dia dulu banyak makanan ke makanan Jepang, kalau sekarang banyak dia pilih makanan Indonesia karena lebih spicy. Jadi semua makanan sekarang ini boleh atau bisa dikasih kalau kita promosi keluar. Yang penting dikasih opsi gitu. Jadi kalau kita ada pepes, kalau kita juga kapal betutu, ayam bumbu rojak, semur, rendang, sate, segala macam mie ayam, semua bisa. Tinggal kita bagaimana mengatur supaya kalau kita buat menu promosi itu diatur supaya ada warna yang berbeda, for example. Jadi kalau ada opor ayam warna putih, berarti we need to have like gulai kapau warnanya kuning. Terus kita punya beef balado warnanya merah. Itu jadi dari presentasi begitu keluar orang akan melihat presentasi makanan itu. Jadi buat saya every food, Indonesian food are sellable overseas and everyone will love it. Makanya itu juga saya kasih contoh di Serbia, di mana orang belum tahu rasa Asia yang lain, begitu makan makanan Indonesia, sambal aja dia makan. Sambal hijau, sambal merah, sambal matah, ya itu lemongrass and shallot relish, they love it. So, tapi yang di luar ini kebanyakan orang banyak tahu Bali gitu, waktu dulu ya. Jadi makanan Bali yang banyak dibawa. Tapi sekarang ini makanan Manado, makanan Padang, semua makanan bisa laku di luar as long as we keep the authenticity. Jadi Karena orang sekarang mencari authentic food. You know, sometimes we have also a modern or like gastronomical. We have different paths kalau di situ. Tapi at least orang akan punya opsi or have an option. Okay?
We want to give comments because probably you already covered many countries, yeah? And just that before this can accept with the spicy or hot food like Indonesian food, and how about your?
Yeah. Well, in fact, I have to agree with the other commentator because, but as he already said, we Europeans, we are adapting and things are changing also. I mean, our level of adaptation to the spicy food is increasing. So we are getting better in eating spicy. And also, I think that the Europeans are always thrilled about tasting new things, exploring new things, because we are a bit tired about eating pizza, eating pasta, eating Japanese food. And I mean, what's next? And maybe next will be Indonesian food. So I think that in sense, we are moving to you.
Thank you. Another question, please. Raise your hand. Oh, well, there is a question from the chat. I believe you can see that. This is the question from the how to produce and introduce local food that suits the taste and needs of international tourists by giving the local unique food. Wonderful, can you answer?
Yes. Well, you have to find the balance. I mean, for tourists, I think that each time is more and more important local, because local is what makes you different from globalization. Because if not, it doesn't make sense to travel to Jakarta or to Bali to eat in a McDonald's, because for that, you stay in Barcelona. And then if you travel to Jakarta, you want to taste traditional Indonesian food. The problem is that maybe we are not used yet to your level of spices or spiciness, no? So maybe you have to make softer versions of your already traditional dishes. But it's just a question of adaptation, no? Right? A recipe that is not so spicy, a milder version, no? But it's the same. I mean, you can cook, you can prepare exactly the same that another Indonesian will try, but maybe with a lower level of the spices.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Probably Chef want to comment too, to give a comment for the question.
Ya, saya rasa gini Bu. Jadi, like I think like Professor Lluis said that tourist is adapting. What we need to do is for a variation. Kind of disagree with, like I said, lowering the spiciness level, because Indonesian food is not all about spicy chili, not chili, no picante, but it's basically spice. So the spice itself, maybe some people who don't understand Indonesian food yet, they were saying, oh, it's spicy. But Thailand food is spicy. But Indonesian food, you can find from mild, medium, spicy to very spicy. So it's just a matter of how the food is being made in different region or different island. If you go to Manado, expecting spicy dish, because in Manado, almost, I mean, I said 90% of the food is spicy because the base is chili. When you reduce the chili, the dish become different else. For example, rendang. Rendang without chili, it not become rendang. because the base is red chili. So same thing with many other food. The food need to be authentic. But like I said, I think Professor Lluis mentioned that the tourist wants to find a uniqueness. If they come to Bali, they want to have Balinese food. You give them an option of one dish not spicy. For example, the sate lilit Bali is not spicy. You can also find betutu, which is like duck and banana leaf, which is not spicy, but they have a condiment they call sambal mata, which is spicy. So they need to mention this is spicy, this is medium. You just need to mention on the menu so the tourists are able to understand, and they will learn about it. And I think, like I said, they're adapting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. Give applause for the answer. Okay. For the next question is from Mejiro Laksono. He asked that in Indonesia, any food unique, how the role of us preserve it, as many of our foods unique but rare all around us. I think who should answer this? Jeff, yeah. Please, Jeff, answer the question because it is about the Indonesian.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think, like I said, for example, a lot of our dishes are so many, and like for example, I'm just talking about Bali because Bali are the one that I live almost 15 years. So I know that there is many dishes that are still not quite famous or still kind of didn't being served as regular as a normal Balinese dish. So what you need to do is basically, if you are in Bali, try to work with Tourism Academy, with the government, with the tourism office in there to develop like a Balinese culture dishes, or find the recipes that can be taught or can be taught in the school. So that recipes will be able to be, will be like sustained. Also, all you can do is actually like, I think Professor Lluis mentioned about like tourism culinary. So it's like a journey of like you going to Buleleng, for example, or you're going to Bali. You find different food in different places in different region, and you learn in there how to make it with locals. And that one can create also like a tourism kind of a package, like travel package, but food package. So like, you know, how to make like a cooking class package. So with that one also, I think the tradition will still be kept, and also people will understand, because also not many Indonesians know about some indigenous recipes from Bali, or like for example Manado, you know, only rica and tuturuga, but there is many other things that maybe people in Java also didn't know. So we need to create that kind of bank of recipes that can be promoted as a book of recipes that can be taught from SMK to Sekolah Tinggi to even a faculty that's specific on Indonesian food. So they can learn more, because like, for example, October, I will be going to India to taught the culinary school in India for Indonesian food. So that means that there is some demand, some things that people want to learn about Indonesian food.
Okay. Yeah, terima kasih. Thank you very much, Chef. Maybe Professor Lluis, because he is expert for the culture. And the question is how that we can keep or preserve the traditional food that have many influence.
Tourism has very negative effects and also very positive. And on the positive side, tourism industry can help to preserve not only tourist places, national parks, but also traditions and gastronomy and local dishes. And just you have to put into value those traditional dishes, no? And as the chef said, for instance, gastronomy tour can help, or a gastronomy lesson can also help, like we've seen in Barcelona. This type of tourist promotion may help a lot to preserve, to maintain local traditions. Because what really tourists are looking for is local traditions. What's really different from you, that from where I come from? Because this is what makes the difference. If, for instance, one tourist is traveling from Canada, or from Los Angeles, or from Barcelona, or from Amsterdam, and they come here, they will really like to see that if they have traveled for so many thousands of kilometers, what is the difference? What is the difference in Indonesia, in Bali, in the local gastronomy? And they will be really eager, really happy to pay for that extra and to learn that. Because it doesn't make sense to spend that much money to travel for so many hours if in the end you eating a pizza, pasta, exactly. It doesn't make sense because you want to eat something local. You want to eat something local, something from Bali. And that will help to restore, to rethink, to recuperate very old traditional dishes that if it wasn't by tourists, for tourists, maybe they would have been lost forever. And this has already happened in Spain, in Italy, in France, that because of tourists, some very old recipes that people didn't think about that were restored, rethought, because in many cases, like we saw in the case of the restaurant Al Celler, it's just a question of adapting very old traditional recipes, dishes, to the new tastes of tourists. But in that sense, I think that the tourism industry can help maintain and preserve very old gastronomic tradition.
Okay. Thank you for the answer, Chef and Prof. Give applause for this answer. Yeah, I will give one chance for you offline here to ask one question.
Only one.
Only one.
Not two, not three, only one.
Okay, Victor, please. You can come here. Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Check.
Hello, everyone. My name is Raju Malana, and I would like one question that Chef Vindex has mentioned about people overseas love Indonesian food, but I think that it's not that well known as Thai food because Thai food well known overseas because it's supported and sponsored by the government. And this issue has been mentioned in 2002 that the question is there any possibility in Indonesian government also follow that government regulation of Thai? Because as we know that Thai food is all over the world and well known, and also it could impact for the tourism as in our country. So that's the question. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Probably Prof can answer the question. Maybe you have experience as well.
Well, I'm just thinking about Peru. In Peru, I have that video. I have a really nice video about promoting tourism in Peru. Maybe we can see it, but well, never mind. The government from Peru also, from many years ago, began promoting the cuisine of Peru as an international tourist program. And they really succeeded in doing that. And nowadays, the gastronomy of Peru is perceived, especially in Europe, as something really unique and expensive. It's not cheap. And many years ago, nobody would have thought about, Peruvian gastronomy. And it's really important because it's also a mixture of very old traditional Indian dishes mixed with Japanese tradition, because in Peru there was a huge influx of people coming from Japan. So the government from Peru was very good in doing that. Very good in doing that. And also, not only gastronomy, and also selling the country as a tourist destination, a very nice tourist destination, because for the government of Peru, tourism in Peru has to be the most important income producer. The most important source of income for Peru has to be not mining, gold mining, silver mining, no, tourism. Tourism. Maybe if I have time, we could see that video that about tourism in Peru. Do you think that we have time, or maybe at the end of the lecture, then maybe at the end?
Okay, thank you, Prof. So, you can give the additional explanation because you have experience connected with the government.
Yeah, I think what government Indonesia is doing at the moment now with Indonesian Spice of the World is basically that's one of the the recent program that actually will help us in coordinating most of the branding and promoting of Indonesian food overseas and promoting the cuisine itself. 2016 with Ibu Mari, we have come up with 30 iconic Indonesian dishes. This year, Indonesian government has launched some Indonesian Spice of the World. So every promotion in overseas will use that branding. And that branding is the one that we're going to promote more Indonesian food. I think I agree with Professor Lluis with Peruvian food. Even in Bali, also you have one Peruvian restaurant. In Jakarta, you have some Peruvian and Mexican kind of restaurant. And like Professor Lluis said, it's also not cheap, it's expensive. But very interesting, people would like to see. Indonesian food also has that potential. We just need to like hold on together. The government also with Indonesian Spice of the World also help the industry, the spice industry. I think giving some have some spices to help the producing from Indonesia to make spices that can be sent with easy access to overseas. Give some helping the restaurant in Indonesia overseas to help develop more, promoting even further. So I think there is a plan on that one, even though I think our problem is because we have too many food. And we kind of, for example, I want my food to be in, I want my food to be in. So like we have like almost 60,000 islands. 34 province. Everything would have different kind of style. But I think government have done something. We just need to be supporting them. So we need to collaborate together to be able to, even in Indonesia itself, with Desa Wisata or tourism village has been hold up better by the tourism ministry. So overseas and inside, we are ready for tourists. So we want that Indonesian food in 2024 to have more Indonesian restaurant overseas. So hope we can make that one with all your support. I think that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Give applause. Okay, there is the last questions, but it's not from you offline. It's one from in the chat from Ms. Nungki Puspita. She says thank you to Prof. Lluis and Chef to give the presentation. And one is a question from her: how the way to
Juan, minta kabel dong.
Okay. Okay. It's okay, Chef?
Okay. Sorry.
Again, the question is how the way to introduce authentic food through the rural tourism that have a philosophy behind that food. I think it's to introduce for the world international part, Desa Wisata. We call the Desa Wisata, and probably in English is the rural tourism. They have special food and have philosophy and how that we can help them to promote, at least like introduce and promote. what the occasion probably, or in your experience?
Well, there's plenty of examples all over the world, no, in other countries, no. I think about in Spain, in Catalonia, or even in other countries like in Costa Rica, no. Or for instance, we have I remember that where a place I live, there is an association with grandmothers and aunties that they have a huge knowledge of all recipes, no? And they unite and prepare food for tourists for when they arrive, no? Probably if we are talking about rural tourists, those tourists will also stay in rural homes. I mean, they will probably stay in a kind of bed and breakfast, and maybe it will be of those people that they own bed and breakfast to give the information to tourists of places, traditional places where they can try, they can taste local food. I think this is the best way through the accommodation places where those tourists will stay in those rural locations, promote and give the information to local tourists because those tourists will be interested in eating local, because if they are staying local in rural accommodations, of course they will like to try also rural food, the food of those places, what those people normally eat. Because if those tourists travel to such areas in rural backgrounds, they will, of course, like to enjoy the same food. So it's a question of giving the information, passing the information to tourists through the local tourist information office, or the bed and breakfast where are they staying, or local associations of women that cook together and prepare the recipes together. I think information is, and with social media, that information now it's really easy to reach the tourists with social media. You can also create your own TikTok channel, for instance.
Thank you, Prof. And Sam, the next, can you give the reason for the explanation how to promote or to help the the rural community can introduce their food, special for authentic food?
Yeah, I think the point has been mentioned by Professor Lluis about social media. I think social media play a big impact. So those desa wisata or like rural tourism village. I mean, like right now, I think me and Ibu Devi also has involved in it, especially with the Ministry of Tourism. We are actually helping or developing the rural tourism village to be ready in all aspects. Right? For example, how they stay with the homestay, also what is the souvenir, the handicraft, food, and then what is the attractions, how to go there, and then also like helping them to develop their digital and social media engagement. Because I think one of the issues with the rural area is the Wi-Fi. So sometimes they want to be engaged, but they have difficulties in the channel or in the signals. But if that one is not an issue, I think social media is the only thing that can help the food to be known, the village to be known, because people love the food with history behind it. I think food that have history behind it will have more impact on tourists, because they want to know more. They want to understand how they make it, or why this dish is coming, and why it's so special in this area, because it's very unique. We've been going to 50 different tourism village in Indonesia, and you can all see them in Jadesta, which is I think one of the social media engagement by the Ministry of Tourism, which is Jaringan Desa Wisata. So you can have a look at jadesta.go.id from Kemenparekraf. That one you can see everything in there. So if your Desa Wisata is not being involved in that, you should. I think that one will help you to gain more, so people around the world will know. Because these days, like I said, I think in Indonesia, Instagram and TikTok. Overseas is Facebook. So you need to use those 3 social media to make the engagement. So it will help your village or the food that you want to be known at, to be known by everyone. So be proactive and be active. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is the last question. So we would like to say thank you very much for the speakers. He is very, very expert in the gastronomy, and I hope we all can get the information and the knowledge about the gastronomy. And I don't have to conclude all the presentation is because already clear they present telling you, and it will become your assessment, right? You have to conclude all the presentation today and give to the lecture. Okay, thank you, Professor Lluis and Chef Vindex. Right now, time to give appreciation for you because you are here. This is Mrs. Derby will give.
Or maybe we can see the last video of Peru because it's already prepared.
Okay.
It's prepared.
Yeah.
Because it's a very nice example of good governmental tourist promotion.
Yeah, that's right. Please, Mrs. Derby.
And that video won an international prize. I think it was 2013.
Okay, that's one. We will see the video first.
In just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Atur dulu, udah. Jadi tekan dulu, ada nyala api.
What part of I'm busy don't you understand?
Excuse me, an urgent package has arrived.
Urgent? Who's it from?
You, from 20 years ago.
Thank you. What? Surprised? You probably don't even remember. If you're watching this, it means that 20 years have passed. I'm hoping our hairline isn't receding and that we don't have a large gut. As I know you, or rather as I know myself, we may have forgotten quite a few things we learned during this summer. So, I've decided to record this video to remind you of them. Remember the time when we were travelers, not tourists? When we were drawn by curiosity, not by a book. When we didn't need to make plans to have a good night. You remember. If you're happy, turn this video off. Ah, I see you're still there. The future. Did we marry her? No. Did you take my earring off? Well, after all, you are old enough. Remember, we always had time to make friends. And to learn. To learn that there was a time when the whole world said it can't be done. And the hopes of a country demonstrated that the world was wrong. And above all, remember that life is a succession of events, and that it all depends on how we live them. Wherever wherever you are in 20 years' time, or rather, wherever we are in 20 years' time, remember when we came to Peru. Darling,
You'll be home late, won't you?
have you ever been to Peru? Whatever you need is now in Peru.
Very interesting. And that's why I always ask you, make a photo, make a video. So maybe 25 years later you can see what you make.
You have a good example of what's the use of one video of today in 20 years' time. So today, make a video yourself.
Yeah.
And in 20 years' time, have a look at that.
And learn how to make the video very good. It's very good presentation. Okay, time we will give the presentation. Yeah, this is Debbie. Please come in front. And for the child, we will give you the appreciation online. Yeah?
Online.
Online. And you guys email.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is appreciated for the chef.
Thank you.
Chef, thank you very much for joining us all the way from Winnipeg, Canada. Really appreciate it, Chef. Terima kasih
No
banyak.
problem. Thank you, Bu Devi.
Chef Vindex 13 jam di belakang kita ya. He's 13 hours behind us. So
Yeah, now it's 11:30 at night.
it's Monday and 11:30 or 10:30?
11:30.
11:30. Thank you so much for staying up really late.
No problem.
Please receive our token of appreciation, and we won't keep you long. So, and another appreciation is for Prof. Lluis Mundet.
Oh. Wow. Oh. Picture.
Okay, thank you, bro.
Oh, oof. Oh, many thanks. I love coffee and batik. many things. I will be a good ambassador of you.
Yes, please.
I'm a coffee lover. Okay.
Okay, Chef. Okay, Professor, we hope you will come again to our campus.
Of
maybe
course.
For the next occasion.
Of course, and I would like you to come, to my campus in Girona.
Yes.
So we'll be expecting you to visit me now.
That's the challenge. Yeah?
That's the challenge.
Chef, that we would like to visit our campus, and maybe you can give the demonstration how to make something delicious. Okay. Okay, for all, we take the picture together. Yeah? Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you for the audience from the Zoom. We would like to thank you for your participation and this webinar, and see you the other occasion. And for the certification, you can see in the chat. Yeah, there is a link that you can get the certification of the webinar. Thank you very much, and see you later. Bye. Okay, maybe how can I take the picture?
Yeah, no. Which is the best piano in front of here? Or?
One is the BS, and then you come on.
Okay. Yeah, Zoom.
Okay. Before participation in the Zoom, we should take the picture that you already participate and open the web camera, please.
Oke, silakan dibuka kameranya
Thank you very
untuk foto bersama.
Probably will take
Berapa? Satu, dua?
Dua.
Two slides. Ready? The two? Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. Bye. Take picture from this room, yeah? The audience from this room.
Yeah.
Mas dapat dari sini. Mereka yang please, Debbie, Miss Nancy.
Atas semua ya. Oke, bisa. Tangannya lagi semua, Bang. Ya.
I want to take picture with Professor Imran. Probably with each major ya, atau kuliah, apa kuliah. Ya,